Good morning, David.
Good morning, Stuart. How are you today?
Doing amazing. Better than I deserve. How are you?
The same,
Yeah.
same. Much better than
Nice.
I deserve. Yeah, yeah. I
Nice.
get to start off the morning and support an organization that we love, DoD Reads,
Yeah, man.
talking about a book that they provided that's awesome. Looking forward to getting into that, and I get to talk to my
Your best bud, your best pal.
fourth best friend in the world.
Hey, man. I
Like
thought I,
that's
I thought I was
top
number one.
top five, baby. Top five.
Makes me feel really good. Thanks, man.
Dude,
Appreciate
that's awesome. You know how many best friends I have?
it. Dude, we're talking about this book right here,
Yeah, get momentum.
Get Momentum by Jason and Jody Womack. I got this book quite a while ago. I'm a little delayed on getting this book review out. So
Yes, you
DoD
are.
Reads team, I apologize, but this one's going to be good. It's actually it's a quick read. But it's packed with a lot of information, and it's interesting because it's a lot of the stuff that you and I talk about pretty regularly, but it really like breaks it down into like a simple process that allows you to get through something. And I know like both of us have things on our list that we've been stuck on. There's I'm kind of a checklist guy, right? Like like a pilot, I have like a checklist I got to go down, and there's stuff at the bottom of my checklist in my notebook here that's been there for a long time.
The carryovers, man, the carryovers. And
Yeah.
like I just send it to the next page. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel
Yeah.
you. Sometimes when I'm doing my to-do list, it takes longer to put the carryovers onto the next day than it does just to do them. So I feel you.
Right. So this book is really just kind of a process of how to get through something that you're stuck on. And really like I mean, it could be super big things like making a career change, like we're kind of going through that right now. Training for an event like a marathon or a triathlon or something like that, or maybe starting a new business or writing a book, down to like little like smaller things like, hey, I want to lose, not smaller, but like, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds, and like what's this process of getting into something that you're stuck on. So it's good, man. I don't know, do you got anything on your list that you want to take care of?
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff on my list I want to
Yeah.
take care of. You just held up that real estate book that's seems like it's about 3 inches thick that we're
Yeah.
gonna start getting after.
Yeah.
We will not be doing a book review on that, I don't think.
No.
Maybe, who knows? But I think what I think is awesome about the premise of this book is you and I, like you said, we talk about this stuff all the time, right? We talk about these 5 M's that we're going to jump into here shortly, but what I like is when we've highlighted in the past, like your why, for example, we tend to highlight Simon Sinek and finding your why, and there's a book there and there's a process there. We talk about when we talk about the importance of mentors and setting goals, all these different things, or like you can find some of these things in different books, or when you go through EOS, for example, there's different elements there. But what I like is that they kind of created a process that incorporates all those things. Reminds me kind of like like a miracle morning type process that you're able
Yep.
to go through and actually make forward progress. And what I think that does for me, for someone like me, is I'm kind of a big picture guy, right? Like the details are not always when we're talking about business plans and whatnot, there's not always my strong suit, but
No.
the big picture, but the big picture is something that I feel like I see that, relatively clearly in the things that we do. And this gives a framework to take all that stuff and put it into a big picture thing, so you can see, your why and the hows and the who's and the almost the 5 W's or 5 M's of how to think through some of these things, whether it's losing weight, which again, for you, 10 pounds, no big deal. But for me, that's been a lifetime, like kind of roller coaster, right? And so
Yeah.
having the understanding or at least having something you can go to that has a process and a system to help you achieve these goals, I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. And this book is it's interactive, and so it really highly recommends that you pick a project, pick something that you've been stuck on, and go through the book and go through this process, in actuality, like with a project that you're stuck on. And um, the thing that like it really talks about, and we're going to go through these 5 stages, but you really want to like clarify your priorities, like think about like, what are you doing all this for, what you're doing this project for. Kind of start listing out like your circle of influence, who you're going to reach out to, who you're going to like try to get help from. And then also think about like your environment, like where do you work best, like where can you just like have no distractions and like get stuff done. So you start there, and then you kind of start going through this process. So let's get into it. You want to hit the first M?
Yeah, let's do it. If you don't mind, go ahead and sneeze and clear your throat, and then we'll continue out.
Yes, sorry, man. I'm starting to get a little cold here.
You're starting to get emotional.
Yeah,
We're getting into these 5 N's and M's, and you're. So the first one, which we highlight as being, and I think I will never deviate from this, and I'm glad that it's the top, but they call it motivation, and with the subtext of what do I want to be known for? Well, that's your why, right? When you start digging into what is your motivation, what do I want to be known for? Is my motivation intrinsic? Is it extrinsic? Is it, what's my legacy look like? Like all these different questions that you that I believe you should ask and delve into. And we talk about kind of going 5 layers deep, right? So you have this thing you list out, and then you ask yourself, well, why that thing? And then once you come up with that, you're like, okay, well, why again? And the more you repeat that, the deeper you get, and the deeper you get, the more powerful that becomes. The more powerful that becomes, the more motivated you are to achieve that thing. And they highlight, make it big, right? Make it big, both from a big goal standpoint, but also like, put it on a big poster, make it big for people to see, make it big for you to see, make it obvious, have it out there so that there's no question on what it is, what your why is, what your motivation is, and then track your progress, systematize it, make it into something that is not only sustainable but repeatable, and that you're going to continue to go back to. And because are you always motivated, Stu? Like it's 4:30 in the morning,
always,
right? Always. I mean, it's not easy to get up every day at 4:30 in the morning. Like I don't do that. I'm like a 5 o'clock guy, but every morning you're up at 4 o'clock, and we're doing these things at 4:30, whatever time in the morning. And it's much easier for me because I'm on the East Coast. But the motivation, the why behind the stuff, the things that we've set up is really what keeps that motivation strong. And I think that that's important.
Yeah, man. And think about this, like the small wins too, like if it keeps your motivation up, like think about those small wins as you're going through this process, and celebrate those, because that keeps the motivation going. Next one is mentors, and who can I learn from? And this is big for us too. We talk about kind of getting around people that hold you accountable. Who in your sphere of influence, excuse me, can help you out. Who can you put yourself around that's going to push you to get better? Who can you reach out to that's going to lift you up? And that could be joining a mastermind group. You and I are part of a mastermind group. I think we've found so much success through putting ourselves around a group of people that helps you, motivates you, lifts you up, and holds you accountable. or just one partner, like an accountability partner. I hold you accountable to a lot of things, and sometimes you,
And I fail. Hey, I'll put it out there, folks. I fail. Not perfect.
um, you got to really like create a team, create a network of people that you can surround yourself, that you can learn through, learn from. And it doesn't necessarily have to be someone directly that, you're talking to every single day. Like it could be an author, it could be books, it could be podcasts, it could be webinars. Now, I try to learn daily through listen to podcasts and reading books and, just educating yourself. Again, think about who you can learn from and write down that list of people, and then start, reaching out and asking for help, because they're going to really help you get through that process of being unstuck.
Yeah, and for mentors, I think my favorite thing about it is one that they've included this as a key element in the process. But I would also encourage folks, yeah, books are amazing, podcasts are great, but the accountability part of it is the most powerful. To have somebody that you report to, and studies show, and you can look them all up and all that good stuff, but studies show that and right, you don't need a study to tell you that if you're going to pick up the phone or go meet somebody and tell them, when I say pick up the phone, I mean actually make a phone call, not text. You tell them where you're at, what you're doing, and you tell them the big goals, and you have them hold you accountable to it. And success is significantly higher. Chances of success significantly higher for that. Number 3 is milestones. I think, one of my favorite things about this, and we operate in milestones all the time in the military, right? We have our POA&Ms, we have all these things where we set milestones, we have what's your desired end state, you backwards plan all the job process, all these things. We have these milestones set up. We have career milestones. This is a very familiar word for us in the military. But I think it's very important to have them achievable and believable, and be intentional with how you do milestones. And it should be in everything, right? So if it's losing weight, well, if you wake up one morning and you're like, hey man, I'm not 10 pounds lighter, and I worked out really hard yesterday, and I ate really healthy, like, you failed, right? It's not, you're going to fail, and you're going to beat yourself up. But if you have certain milestones, okay, let me get my diet right. This is how I'm going to meal plan. You break it all the way down to, this is the meals I'm going to have every day. That you have a greater chance for success. Well, that's across the board, right? That's across the board. I mean, we're looking at, from our business, a 5-year plan to achieve any kind of financial success, right? Like year 1, some people people do this thing, and year 1, great success. But we're looking at it from a perspective of milestones. And I also love the 30-30 rule, because that's
Man.
for me is hard for me I look at a project and I'm like, man, that's a big project. I'm gonna go read a book.
Yeah.
And in reality, and for me, I know reading a book is good, and I will gain from reading a book. So I use something good to make an excuse to not do required or best.
Right.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm able to justify it because I'm not like, in my brain, I'm sure I tell myself, well, you're not sitting there watching TV. But in reality, I'm just avoiding what is important. So that 30-30 rule is, you work on a piece of your project for 30 minutes at a time, uninterrupted, for 30 days straight.
Yeah.
And that is huge.
And a piece of that is, from what I said from the beginning, is understand where you can work and think and create best without those distractions, because there are a lot of distractions. We got our cell phones, we got little munchkin kids running around, you got, wife, you got Navy job, you got business, you got all this stuff, you got email, social media, all this stuff that can interrupt you. So like, where can you sit down and really focus for 30 minutes uninterrupted and just like knock it out? And if you do that for 30 days straight, I guarantee you're going to get somewhere. Yeah, do it.
Good stuff.
All
Good
right, number
stuff.
4, monitor. The fourth M is monitor. And you're thinking about what positive things are happening that I can acknowledge. And this kind of goes back to celebrating the small wins. You're regularly assessing your performance and you're regularly tracking your details. You hear all the time about you're not going to get anywhere unless you're tracking it. And it's true. I really think that's true. Like, you can track something, you're going to really see how you're accomplishing and getting through those milestones that you created in step 3. I think who was it? I think it was Jerry Seinfeld talks about like how he like creates jokes. Like, he just made a huge calendar and he would just write jokes every single day and he would just cross it off on a calendar with a big red marker like every single day. And you get to the point where like you just don't want to miss a day because you just want to keep that streak going. Same thing. Like, I started doing it, riding the Peloton or doing like some type of exercise workout. Like, there's a calendar and every single time you do it, it knocks off a day. And so like, I don't want to miss a day on the calendar because I want to keep that streak going. So like, how can you monitor your results, monitor your progress, and track it on a daily basis? I think that's super important.
Yeah, it's really powerful. And I'm have not been great at that, and I've heard it in a different context as well. And someone that I listen to mention quite often, Rick Warren, he does it with prayer, and he's like, if you don't write down your prayers, that you are earnestly seeking, like, how will you ever know or remember or see? And so he like he writes them down, and then he, I don't know if he breaks the page in half or whatever he does, and then comes back to it and sees actual, like, it has built his faith because he sees answers, right? He sees how things kind of play out. And I've always been intrigued by that, by the tracking your actions, because when you see, there's something different about seeing, like, no kidding, seeing it. And it's different than getting up every morning and getting on the scale. Like, I'm obviously focused on this, on the weight loss.
Are you trying to lose weight right now?
I do need to lose some weight, but it's something that so many people like. It's ubiquitous, right? People talk about this weight loss thing, it's multi-billion-dollar industry because it's such a focus. And so there's a lot of power in that, and something that I really need to incorporate in my daily my daily activities, because then that monitor goes back up and really feeds all the previous steps and this last step that we're about to talk about as well. But that monitor phase, it helps you assess your milestones. It helps you even to determine whether your mentors are, that time is a good investment, that ROR is good, the return on relationship is good or not. And not good or bad, but just productive or not productive. And then, you're tracking your motivation. It directly ties back to your why. Are the things that I'm doing, the results I'm getting, directly feeding my why? And if not, either change your why or change what you're doing. And that's perfectly teed up for the last step, which is modify, right? Modify. And by modifying, I think it's necessary. And I think a lot of us do the same things over and over, right? We do the same things that we're not finding success in, but whether we're comfortable or we think if we just keep hitting this wall, at some point it's got to fall down. You're going to break through, and maybe that wall's double reinforced and it's got rebarb and full of concrete. Like, you don't know. But I think as you track it, as you're monitoring, you're going to see what's working and what's not. And then you have to have the fortitude to, and I like it. And I can't remember and I owe you the name of the guy in the Tools of the Titans, Tim Ferriss book, where he said, man, stop talking about pivoting. Acknowledge that you messed up. And he uses a little more choice language. Acknowledge it and then change.
Yeah.
I messed that up. Now I'm changing. And that whole concept of modifying to do something different to achieve success in whatever it is, I think is important.
Yeah, like modifying, it's not failing.
No.
You're just understanding what worked and what didn't, and then making a change. And reach out to your mentors, right? Like that's the point of having like that list, that accountability group, that mastermind group. Ask for help. Like it's not it's not a big deal. It's not like you're not failing by asking for help and changing things. So it's good, man. I think this is, like I said, it's a really good book. It really thinks it helps you think through the process of getting unstuck. There's lots of examples of people with their own, processes and solutions to these steps. And I think the biggest thing that you can take out of this is one, you cannot do it alone. You absolutely cannot. And two, you have to do something different to get different results. You have to. So you have to make that change. You have to get into your mindset that you're going to do this to get this momentum going, and go get after it. So
I
let's do
like
it.
it.
Let's do it.
Crush it. That they should have a sixth step that says crush it, but starts with an M, because the M theme. What should it be? But I don't know. We'll come up with it. We'll reach out to the authors, tell them, hey,
Yeah.
maybe in a second edition, step 6, crush it, but with an M word. They're the authors. They're smart. I'm sure they could figure out an M word for crushing it.
Once we post this,
mash it.
Mash it.
Sounds dumb.
Post it online in the comments when we post this thing, and tell us what step 6 would be. Well, tell the authors, Jason and Jody. Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
Jason, Jody, mash it.
All right, it's DoD book review. It's a good one, and excited about the next one. I don't know what it is yet, but we'll get on it and get another review started. So hope you enjoyed it. Go get the book. Go check out DoD Reads. It's a great organization, and hey, sign up to start reading some books too.
Yeah,
leaders are readers.
Leaders are readers, my friend.
Yep.
It's a great way to sign it off. DoD Reads, look it up, join. They're awesome. Love them. Great team.
Go fill your storehouse.
And mash it. A great day, my friends. Mash it.
Mash it.
See ya. See ya.